So in trading, mistakes are easily made, and in this video we're going to talk about 3 different mistakes that you need to avoid, need to try and eliminate completely from your trading, and that's going to make you a much better trader. So let's jump into it. So the first mistake is oversizing. Now this one is very easily done, especially if you're a newcomer. You have a good run of trades and you think, oh actually I'm going to size up now, I'm kind of getting the hang of it. Absolutely not. You need to have that back testing behind you, so keep tracking your trades, then you can make a judgment if you can size up or not. Now for me personally, I haven't sized up yet. I've obviously gained a bit more money within the account, but in terms of actual size of lot, I'm still using the same amount that I was in the beginning. So this is just to kind of level out my mentality and just kind of keep it clean, keep it simple, keep it easy. And then when I hit a certain goal, that's when I'll size up and basically just add a 0. If you just add a 0, so for example, if before you were buying 10 shares, then you would just move on to buy 100 shares, because it's exactly the same theory, exactly the same strategies, trading plan, everything like that. And you're just adding a 0, so really nothing should change. And if it does change, of course, it does change your mood, your psychology. That's when you need to drop back down. You're not ready to size up yet. So just to recap, obviously oversizing is one of the worst. It's very easily done, especially in emotionally high situations. And when you do it, just try and recognize it and just eliminate it completely. Turn off your phone, turn off your laptop, go for a walk, go out, do something else. So that's number 1. Now before we jump into points number 2 and 3, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Obviously I do all sorts of trading psychology. I do live trading, I do trade ideas. If that's something you're into, obviously hit the subscribe button, obviously like the video as well. I really do appreciate it. Let's jump into point number 2. Number 2 is trading against a trend. This again is very easily done, especially if you're a beginner. You don't really know what trends, what to look for when you try and find the trend. Now what I mean by this is, you've probably heard the saying catching a falling knife. Now this is when the stocks are kind of plummeting down and you keep trying to find the bottom and you're basically trying to catch a falling knife, which is just really not what you want to do. Trust me, if you want hands, you don't want to catch knives. If you're continuously trying to catch the bottom, you're just going to keep dropping down. What you really should be doing is buying at a certain level. If you're seeing momentum in a negative way, just follow it down until the change in the trend is completely obvious. Then obviously that's a different story. But if it's kind of continuously going down on bad news, bad events, anything like that, Jerome Powell speaking for example, then you just continue that trend down. And then that's the way you make your money, to kind of bring down your stop losses as you come down. On the other hand, for example, if the SPY is continuously going up, on a Friday it goes up 1-2%, but it's just gradually going up, and you think to yourself, oh, it's definitely going to drop soon, it's definitely going to pull back. Just leave it, okay? So just don't be tempted by that trade. Of course, if there's an obvious indicator that breaks a trend line, that's completely different. But if you're trying to find the top everywhere and just random points of resistance, it's just not going to work. It's not going to happen. It might work sometimes, but it won't work all the time. Trust me, I've tried it. It's just part of the learning process, and that's what happens within trading, especially as a beginner. You're always trying to make the most money. It's not about that. It's about procedure. It's about process. About discipline. About consistency. It's all about those things when you're trading. No one really cares about how much money you make. So just get your ego out of there and just continue trading on a consistent basis. Leading on from that, kind of is a sort of same thing, is number 3, and that is always having a stop loss. Now this one has been a bit of a tough one for me. I always try and think, oh yeah, I can have a mental stop loss. Not of late, of course. The last 3 or 4 months I've always kind of stuck to a stop loss. Sometimes you kind of place it by accident, but that's a completely different story. But really you should always have that stop loss there. Now even if it is like a really hard stop at a slightly lower level, so for example you've got a stock at $15 and you have a stop loss of $14 and you want the stock to obviously go up, but you kind of think that stop loss could be a bit loose, then you probably could have a very hard stop at 13. Obviously this is an example, you wouldn't have normally a $2 stop loss, but yeah, really hard stop at 13. That's your fail safe. That's your, that is when it comes out, regardless of what happens, regardless of your emotions. You just need to have that discipline and set that stop loss. Now obviously moving on from that, if you're in a winning position that, for example, that stock goes up to 16.70, that's when you move the stop loss up, and that's where your kind of risk management comes in place. But that's again towards your strategy. That's not really what we're talking about in this video, but then you can really manage the trade from that point onwards. Just a quick recap on that one: always set your stop loss without doubt, especially as a beginner. You need to have that discipline nailed in from the off, that's for sure, and then obviously the experience and everything else will take on from there. So that's it for this video. That's 3 different mistakes that you really should be making, you really should be working on to kind of capitalize on your confidence, your discipline within your trading. If you like this video, then obviously please do subscribe, and obviously like it as well. It helps me get in front of more eyes in terms of newer traders, help them on their trading journey. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.